joined by senior editor Lou Somogyi. And Lou, I want to talk about recruiting in this YouTube video and specifically class rankings. Everyone wants to see Notre Dame sign a bunch of 5-star recruits and have a top 10 class, but the last top 10 class Notre Dame had was back in 2013 when the Fighting Irish signed the number 3 class in the country, and before that, the only other top 10 class Brian Kelly's had at Notre Dame was in 2011 with the number 9 class. Just in this 2020 class, Notre Dame signed 17 guys. That does not include the graduate transfers, and that class ranked number 23 in the country. So my question to you, Lou, is do you think Notre Dame can sign a top 5 class? I mean, this 2021 class for Notre Dame is currently ranked number 4 in the country. Of course, it's a long time until National Signing Day for that class, but do you think Notre Dame can get into that top 5 category?
Yeah, that's almost a similar question to everyone always asking, do you think Notre Dame can ever again win another national title? And we're going on 32 years here. But, yeah, I'm not going to say they can't. As you mentioned, it wasn't long ago, 2013, although it might seem like it, that they had the number 3 ranked class. Now, that included, at the time of the ranking, Eddie Vanderdoes, who was a 5-star prospect from California as a defensive tackle, and he eventually reneged on the deal and went to UCLA instead. So I don't know if they would have dropped out of the top 5 without him. I imagine they probably would have been right on the cusp. But, you know, I think with so much of the talent based so much more in the southern states, the warm weather climates, it's going to be more difficult. I'm not saying it cannot be done, but you know, the Alabamas, the Clemsons, the LSUs, the Floridas, the Miamis, the Florida States, the schools down there are generally going to be the one to be. And we haven't even gone into the Ohio States and Texases. No reason why Texas shouldn't be able to recruit tremendously. There's going to be some inherent advantages that they're going to have based on their geography and where most of the talent pool is. Even USC, you know, it's mind-boggling to see them rated like not even in the top 60 this year, and they have a tremendous recruiting base and all, but it just comes down to whether they can have that perfect storm. For example, what have we been saying? They need difference makers at running back and receiver and et cetera. Well, they got a Chris Tyree, a Jordan Johnson, and a Michael Mayer at tight end, but this class is only 17 players, so that's going to knock them down. They didn't even make the top 24 rivals. Then other years you may get 22 or 23, but you don't necessarily have the game-changing figures. So it takes a confluence of everything where that perfect storm has to come together to be a top 5 caliber, and it's going to take the same to win a national title. And I'm not going to say they can't do that either, because how many teams in the last decade played both in the college football playoff and then a championship game like they did in 2012? There's not many. So realistically, there's only about 15 or 16 schools anymore that can really win a national title. I place Notre Dame among them. But, you know, like with anything else, a lot of things have to go right.
And one really important thing that you brought up, Lou, with the recruiting rankings is Rivals takes, and we're talking about Rivals rankings, of course, here because, you know, blueandgold.com's on the Rivals Network. To have a top 10 class, you have to at least sign 20 prospects, because Rivals takes into account the top 20 recruits in your class. So when Notre Dame only signed 17, let's just say the Fighting Irish took 3 more low-ranked 3-star prospects, then you're probably looking at a top 15 class. But Notre Dame's not just going to take 3-star prospects just for the sake of taking 3-star prospects.
Right. Yeah, it just surprises me that they would be ranked like 23rd with the caliber of players that they brought in. But it's one of the things I always mention is other schools recruit too. There's a lot of great talent out there. There's probably at least 1,000 really good football players to be recruited every year. I look at it, there's 50 states. and every state produces 20. Now, maybe Florida and Texas produce about 100, and Vermont and New Hampshire produce one or so, but it evens out. But Notre Dame gets about 20. The other 980 have to go someplace too. So how you develop them is just as important.